Black love is something that needs to be really highlighted because it's not highlighted enough. You know, obviously you see black people when they have, you know, struggles and, you know, with the hardships they're going to, so you don't really get to kind of see genuine black love between people.
We're in love and we're black, and
right.
We know a lot of people like us that are in love and they're black.
Yep.
But we don't see ourselves anywhere when it comes to black love appreciation. So we wanted to create a show where we just highlight and appreciate black love in all of its forms. Really not all of its forms, but its alternative form or its LGBTQIA plus form.
Definitely.
Yeah. We let each other know what's up. I mean, we can't make plans in the future if we're not open and honest about our finances.
Dude, we can't make plans tomorrow if you don't tell me you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I ain't got it. You're right.
I mean, I think it's, you know,
that kind of stuff will come around and bite you in the ass later on down the relationship. You cannot be like promising people these things and, you know, leading people on, and then when like that responsibility is going to end up, if something is going on, it's going to end up weighing on one person. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you knowing the whole time that you fucked up or something and you not telling nobody, I mean, just be honest about it. So you can fix it, or I can help you fix it, or we can, like, do whatever the case it may be. I mean, because everybody, like, I'm 34 years old. I got some debt. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to be honest. Like, I got these bills, I got those bills, whatever. But at the same time, you got to be, like, financially responsible if we got plans on buying a house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Owning property. Like, you have to be open and honest about that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are, definitely.
I think it's like it's so important because a lot of times finances break a lot of people up, and I don't think it's the root of arguments. It's the, you know, and so I think being honest with each other. Hey, I don't have this. This is what's going on with me. This is where I came from. This is what I got going on now. Like, when it comes to finance, I think that's so important, because when you get into a relationship with somebody, when you start something, like, even if you don't tend for things to happen that way,
right?
You have each other's backs. You understand? So I'm not gonna let you be fucked up, just like I know you ain't gonna let me be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? If I got it, I got it. You know, like, you got it, and vice versa. So I think that that's why it's important to know. Like, tell me what's going on. Like, so it, like,
either way it go. If you broke, let me know. If you got money, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, so we can invest in the right ways. You know, like, why are you here if you're not gonna share your world with me? Your money is your world too. You know what I'm saying?
It's part of that.
It's part of that. Yeah. So, shit, make it rain.
Thank you.
I don't think we are. I really don't think that we are. I feel like if something happens, then we kind of have to be. But for the most part, I don't know what the hell you got going on. Just right now, I don't know what the hell she got going on.
Yeah, I definitely
I don't know.
Speaking for myself, she has no idea what I make or where it goes. I'm not always super duper open with my finances.
I'm not really open about mine either. If you ask me a question, I would tell you. Yeah, or like,
even without me asking.
True. If I get booked for a wedding, I'm just like, all right, cool. I got this coming in. I just got this deposit. I just got da-da-da-da. Like, but I'm not always 100% open. Like, I don't tell you everything that I got going on. But I feel like it wasn't my need to tell you. But now that we're getting married, even with you, I'm just like, bro, why am I just not figuring this out? Like, why didn't you tell me about this 4 months ago so we could have just fixed it? Like, why? So I wish that we were more open about both of our finances, but we're not. So this is something that we're working on this year.
This is is a choice she just made right now.
Facts. You can't build without knowing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I would definitely say we are open with each other about our individual finances. I will definitely. That's a good thing. We may not like each other's finances, but we are open for sure.
Yeah, we are.
There's a lot of area for opportunity. Well, the room for opportunity in that area.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, I was very, very private with my finances.
She had me confused.
Like, where you get this from? Hey.
First of all, she used to work for Pablo, Cesar, over in Mexico, because she would just come up with all this stuff. And I'm like, who are you working for? You've been with me all day. How'd you get $500? Pablo and them. So
It's hard work.
she has to be open with her finances with me because she's not good with finances. So that was an issue. I said, you have to be open with me so we can come to the table and know where the money's going. I'm open with my finances because I want to be fair. I wanted to show her what healthy relationships look like with here's what the finances are. I do believe she should still have room for have her own finances. I should still have room for mine. And then collectively we should have some, but it should never be to the point where we're suffering in our bills and all of that. So, but I definitely think it's important for her to have her own because I'm not going to pay for your trees. I'm just not going to do it. I don't smoke, so I'm not going to pay for it. So you need your finances for that. But it doesn't need to come out of our finances because now we have a problem. So, yeah, she had to be open with her finances. She wasn't used to that. But I said, hey, if you want my love. Okay. So, she's open now.
Yeah, I'm open now, and I don't care. Before it was like a pressure, like why you want to know where my money is going? Like that's crazy. But now I understand, and I don't mind. Now I find myself like, hey babe, I got such and such, or I'll text her like, well, this is what's in the account. Just
she tried this. She said, well, if I get the money, can I just give it to you? No, you can't. This is what you're gonna do. You're going to put it to the side. So
now I used to be afraid to like, I think when we first moved in, I think she went in my pocket. I was asleep. And she went to the store and was like, babe, I went in your pocket and got, and at first I was like, she went in my pockets. I was just like, oh my God, she counted my money. She know how much
and I did.
But
I didn't even care.
Knowing the type of person that she is, she just got what she wanted and that was it.
She wasn't used to a woman having their own. That's what women that count your finances that hard and want all your money, they don't have their own. I'm a bag getter on my own. You know what I'm saying? So I had to explain to her the difference of why we need to come to the table for our finances so you can see what it looks like and what we're paying versus you still have your own. So
yeah, she writes stuff down and I was like, this is foreign. Like, why are we writing this? She's like, I need to know exactly how much
you
we
need to
need
see.
and I'm like, exactly? Like, I'll give her a roundabout. She's like, no, I need exact numbers and cents. And I'm like, okay. Because I'm a rounder. Around.
All the way around. So needless to say, I pay all the bills. She gives me the money and I pay the bills. We got to talk about that one day, bills.
So have you guys faced any hard times together financially as a couple?
I mean, I feel like we basically married. Even though we're not married, we basically married. Because at the end of the day, we have, ironically, we have lived together for the most part. Before our relationship was official, we were basically living together. So I definitely think for the most part, we are. Like,
I'm more open than he is about his finances. And I mean, I've come to understand the man that he is. So let's just get that right. But I think we're for the most part, we are 90%. open about our relationship. I mean, about our finances. Yes.
I think the hardest time for me is when I lost my car, and the ability to just be able to move about freely became limited to none. So we had to kind of like reconfigure how we see each other. Sometimes we see each other more, either in person or on the phone.
Yeah.
Since we've been together, for me personally, when we first got together, I was making a lot more money because I had I've always had multiple streams of income, but I had different streams of income. And there was like a point where I lost one of my streams of income, and I went from like making that few $1,000s, that extra few $1,000s a month, to not making it. And it was really difficult for me, like, managing, because we were still kind of new in our relationship, where she didn't want me to get a second job to make up like
what you lost.
Yeah. And I don't think I knew how to just explain to her, but I need this extra source of income. So I kind of had to definitely figure that out, and I definitely had to like thin out where my money went and monitor it a little bit better, because I lost such a big chunk of money because I wanted to spend more time with her, because that was something that she needed.
Yeah. I definitely think when I first moved in, because I moved so abruptly, I was still also paying bills in Charlotte, because I didn't buy a house, but I was still renting a house out there. And even though nobody was living there, I still had obligations that I had to pay here. There, so I wasn't really paying anything here. And I came down here off a savings account, so I had enough money to pay my bills there and feed us here, but that was all I was contributing to. And that also took a strain in our relationship as well. But that was the hardest time that I've had. But since then, I definitely feel like that was around the same situation too.
Yeah, it was the exact same time.
So our hardest time individually was actually the hardest time that we've had collectively. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we really haven't had anything that's been that has affected us financially together. I've came to Corey with a whole lot of stuff going on. I basically started working for myself, so I was going from working a 80,000 a year job to just having the mindset that I'm gonna do things on my own, and I wanted to work for myself and things like that. So of course, like, going through that transition doesn't come at a easy price. It's not something. It's a big jump from a big leap of faith, and that's kind of when I met Corey. That's the situation I was in. Just making things happen. I can't really say that I was missing out on nothing, but at the same time, like, things that I was used to doing, and Corey being around, definitely, like, it didn't stop. So I love to travel. We made sure we still traveled. I'm fairly simple when it comes to like material things and stuff like that. So it's not much I'm gonna ask for anything else. But I think
be looking for them sales.
Shut up! I love sales, discounts, coupons, all that shit. But I think it's just it's important. It feels good to know that if I don't have, or if I can't do that, I'm with somebody that's willing to do whatever for me. And so we haven't really necessarily had any financial hardships together, but I can't say that I've been through things, but not really feeling like I'm going through them, because Corey didn't have my back.
I got some student loans.
Right, that's it, Sean.
I got some student loans.
Right. Fannie Mae. No, I'm just
Sally Mae.
Oh,
Where I go to school at?
That's that old school.
Right.
No, that's the housing community. That's what that is.
Is that it? Nah, I ain't been there either. But shit, like, everybody go through hardships, because I was married once upon a time, and that shit is expensive as hell to get rid of a person.
It's a bill.
It is. It's expensive as hell to get rid of somebody. Like, but they leave you with some debt. You just lose a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you become responsible for a big ass house by yourself, and you know what I'm saying? You got to make ends meet. And I mean, that's probably the hardest thing I've had to, endure financially by myself. But at the same time, I did what I had to do, like I stacked up, I went to school, I was working, you know what I'm saying, like, and staying out of everybody's way, ducking everything, ducking all that drama and shit, and, then this one comes along and interrupts.
Whatever. not interrupts.
You tap me on my shoulder while I'm meditating. Hello. Like.
I did actually. I was. When it all went down initially, we were out and about, and I just came up with something completely different because
he didn't tell me at first.
Because it was a very I didn't want you to look at me like
I don't judge. So if you know anything about me.
Well, true. However,
What job gonna do, leave you high and dry?
Well, I don't know what's going on in your mind.
No. But yes, that like here's my thing. And I'm this person, a firm believer. I mean, you go through hard things, but like that tests your relationship right there. If you can't handle that, then I mean, what's the point of even trying to get into a relationship with somebody if you can't handle the good and the bad? You have to handle both. Everything's not gonna be, as Tamar puts it, sunshine lingerie all the time. It's not.
Come on, sunshine lingerie.
Marvin Gaye lingerie. It's not. It's not.
Yeah. I felt like, like when you first get with somebody and you, like, I didn't have you yesterday, but I have you today. And I don't want to put, like, my issues today on you because I don't want you to feel like I had, like, ulterior anything for you yesterday. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I didn't want to, like, be super duper open with the fact that, like, I told her I'm losing this chunk of money, right? And I was very, very clear with, like, when. But I don't think I expressed, like, the necessity for it and how everything would shift for me personally once I lost it if I didn't pick up another source of income or get a second job, because I didn't want to, like, unload all that on her because we were still in that very new, I think we had only been together for like 2 or 3 months or something, and I'm super duper independent, and I didn't know how to, like, it was like maybe the one time where I didn't know how to figure it out, and I didn't want to lean on her because we were so new. And sometimes when you're newly dating somebody, it turns them off when you have to lean on them that way. But then I also understood, like, she's going through this transition where she is still paying bills there, so she can't actually pay bills here. She had a little more free time, so she wanted to be able to, like, do more things, and I didn't want to take that from her and tell her, no, you need to get a job, like, today. I didn't want to do that. I really wanted her to be able to kind of, like, do it on her own, and I didn't want to add too much pressure, but I felt so much pressure, and I really felt like I couldn't talk to her, though, because I didn't want to, like, turn her off from me.
The crazy thing about this situation is, what you wouldn't have known is that it wouldn't have turned me off. I would have just stepped up and did what the fuck I needed to do. Because, again, to me, especially if we're not open about finances, I don't see what I don't know.
Right.
I can't fix what I don't know. And I can't help if I don't know. So I'm just over here like, all right, cool. She's not asking me for rent at the moment. She's not asking me for any of the above. I'll make sure we got food. If we go out, I'll make sure I pay my half. Or I pay for this. If you paid for it last time, I'll make sure I can cover my end of things. And then also take care of what I need to take care of, because I'm always concerned about my credit. So I didn't want to not pay this rent that we still have. I didn't want to break a lease that I still have in my name. I didn't like, there's bills in my name that I still don't want to affect, because that would affect us later. So to me, I'm thinking about that. I'm making sure I can afford this. She's not asking me for help, so I'm making sure that we're all good. I was afraid of being judged after the fact when I realized she wanted me on my own to step up to this situation that I didn't know was as deep as it was. And so I felt bad on my end for not recognizing it, but I was so tunnel vision and just making sure that my credit's good, that I'm paying these old bills so that it doesn't affect us in the future. And all along that, I had tunnel vision. I did. I was only concerned about myself and making sure that we were fed here. And I felt like if it was a major burden that she would bring it up, but that's miscommunication or lack of communication as well. So I was afraid of being judged after that fact because I didn't know it was an issue while it actually happened. So, yeah.
Well, I don't think we've had any hard times together financially as a couple, but separately, yeah, most definitely.
Especially when we moved, definitely. It was kind of like a sudden move for us. We kind of just came down here, found a place, they approved us, and we was like, okay, we're moving, and we didn't barely have a pot to piss in because we were still working on the wedding.
Came down here, visit. I went back to Detroit.
I stayed.
She stayed.
Got a job.
I was in Detroit working. Like, we got approved. Okay, and we went and started packing. It was like,
and we didn't know how. I didn't know I was gonna start my new job, and this is my first time working full time at a job in almost 3 years because I've been full time as an entertainer. But I told her I wanted, and she did not want me to do it. But I told her when I moved, I want to at least get into a job for 6 months to get secure with our finances, and then go back into full time. So that was definitely hard for us because I like to know where my money's coming from. She's like, I'm just gonna get it, but I need to see it. So that kind of caused a little rift for us because obviously anything is stress doesn't make for a comfort zone. So I think that was now that we like 3 months in now, we're kind of like, okay, we can breathe a little bit. So
because we literally took everything that we had,
Yep.
like we sold stuff.
Everything and started new.
We started completely over.
We only brought like 3 items and everything else we sold, and we didn't know what the heck we was gonna do. The rent was high as hell, especially coming from Michigan, but to God be the glory, it worked out.
We came down here, we ain't had no furniture. It was like
We did not have any furniture.
we had a bed, a TV, our
A
dogs
table.
was good.
And a table.
It was like, we doing this.
Yeah.
And this is my first time moving. So that was another hurdle.
Out of state, yeah.
I've never been out of state. Me and my mom I'm the only child. And
And I move all the time, so.
It was just different.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's an experience that I wouldn't take back.
Yeah, so going through what we were going through financially and me feeling, I felt at the time like she wasn't seeing what was in front of her, and I wasn't like, okay, let's sit down and comb through all of my finances, but I was open with like, I'm losing this, X amount of dollars that I'm used to making. And I was super duper open with that. I was super duper open when I felt like I needed to get a second job. I stated these things and I talked about these things, and every time it was, oh, but I want to spend more time with you, so don't. But then there was no, like, initiative on her part to, like, do anything more. And there were just, like, for me, there were times where she would spend money on, like, things, but then at no point was like, oh, do you need help with, like, this? Or, you know what? I realized you lost this amount. Do you need me to pay for something? And it was just kind of like, we're going out to dinner, or, you know, or whatever, and you're spending as much as, like, a bill. And then it was that on top of, like, I felt like I had to do everything. I really did. I felt like, I know you want to be a creative and you want to do your whole move to Atlanta and just kind of jump into everything thing. But I felt like I was working all day. I didn't have everything that I needed. I was still, like, trying to go grocery shopping. I was still coming home. I was still having to clean. I was still having to cook. I felt like it turned me off. And there was a period early on where it was just kind of like, I didn't look at her like I didn't feel attracted to her. I just felt like it was just, she was another responsibility. And so definitely affected, like, how often I wanted to be intimate. And it wasn't that she was doing it on purpose. It was that was just, the situation, that I didn't demand anything. And because I didn't demand that she do, or that, you know, whatever she didn't do. And I didn't demand that she acknowledge that time is cool. I want to spend time with you, but I also want to make sure that all of the bills here are getting paid and on time. And so yeah, there was just, like, I just remember not feeling, like, excited to, like, come home. I didn't want to have sex. I didn't, like, I was completely kind of turned off, and maybe even, like, a little bit resentful during that time frame, for sure. And then, yeah.
Well, that's kind of tough to hear, because that's the first time I've heard that to that magnitude. For me, and still to this day, if she said I needed $300 for rent, if she said I needed this, if she said I needed this, if she said, can you pay this for me this month, I've always been there.
Yeah.
I've always done it. I don't want you guys thinking, like, I was just out here literally not doing shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever told me that you needed something, I have done it. I've been there. Because to me, we have our bills and stuff written on the board in the room, and yours has been there since I moved in.
Yeah.
Literally, the day I rolled over, the first night I was scared, and it was just sitting here in my face. Like, so I have seen the bills, but I'm also, my family's in the military. I don't know about military pay. Like, I don't understand it. All I knew was that you was losing a chunk of money, but I didn't know how that affected everything to the magnitude of what it was. But if you ever needed something, regardless of me paying my bills that I still paid on time, I made sure I got it to you before you needed it. And so it was just kind of like that. Like, almost in a matter of that same day or the day after, you had whatever you asked me for. So it was kind of tough for me, and it's still to this day. I'm just like, if you would have just told me up front that this is what you were going through or about to go through, I could have helped you with that. But it was the fact that I didn't know anything at all. So yes, I'm focusing on paying my bills and making sure when you ask me for something that I have it for you. If you can't do something, that I'm there for you. If you want me to go buy groceries, I'll go buy groceries for you or for us. Like, I'm there. I've always been there. But my mistake was waiting for her to tell me that there was an issue. And again, it's my first time hearing that to the magnitude of what she said it to. So I am kind of emotional right now because you didn't tell me that. You know, so it's like I'm hearing you talk about me like that, you know? And I didn't know that what I wasn't doing was affecting you like that. So, I mean, I got a job. I eventually got a job because
She
we
has a
eventually
life.
had a conversation, and I've done what I needed to do.
I couldn't do it anymore. Like, you know that thing, and we come down on men a lot, you know, like, oh, if he's not able to do dot 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 dot, then he's less than. And I don't think that we acknowledge like the independent woman enough and the same kind of burden. I didn't want her to, like, she was so excited to like be here and just, you know, jump into everything, and like I didn't want to take that from her. And we would have conversations where it was just kind of like, this is what I've always wanted to do, I'm just going to do it. And so for me, it was just I felt like the burden was like figuring it out so that I didn't take any of her joy away. But then I got to a point where it was just like, I'm not able to do this anymore without another source of income or your help. And so then, yeah, we had that conversation. On top of that, it was like, I couldn't have sustained a relationship with her where we were both happy and fulfilled the way that we needed to be if I didn't completely open up and just tell her, like, look, it's that time. It's that time for you to kind of like do what you need to do here. And so yeah, we definitely had a conversation, and she does so much. But I didn't want to be, I'm so used to being able to take care of it or fix it or.
But I'm the same way.
Yeah, she's that way. But I don't know, I guess when you're in a long-term relationship, then you're just used to having that other person be like, what have we dropped, let me pick it up. And so when you're in a new relationship, you have to remember that it's a new relationship, and that person might not off top just say, what have we dropped? Let me pick it up. And at the time, I think we were so new that it was like learning communication styles. I said repeatedly, I need to find another source of income. I said that, and I said, I'm losing X amount of dollars. Not I'm losing some money, but I'm losing X amount of dollars, and the bills are on the board. Right? I said that, but I don't think that I just I explained the depths of it enough, because I was so used to being in a long-term relationship with someone else that I don't know, like I just thought that's just like a thing that you do.
Well, it's also hard when you tell me, or you stated that, you know, I like to make 2 to 3, 4 times of what my bills, like,
yeah.
So to me, when you say I'm losing X amount of dollars, it's not like you can't afford anything. So I can't determine the two. So what we've learned from the situation is just to be honest about kind of what we got going on. Finances is something that we're still not honest about, but you know, if literally any time, because again, if you don't know there's a problem, then you can't really
fix it.
Yeah,
you can't address it at all.
So that's something that she's learning as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how we moved on from that, and it affected our relationship for sure. Yeah,
but she does so much now.
I think that goes to me. Again, because he's a little more stable than I am, especially when I was coming to the relationship, because I had moved from Chicago to Atlanta. So I was starting a whole new life here in Atlanta. I was, really trying to build my brand, trying to really figure out who I was in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? So where he had already, he's born and raised here, this is his hometown, even though he moved and came back, he's already had that establishment. So it was more for me on that financial level, where I had to really kind of figure out where I wanted to be financially and what I needed to do to be there. Because I was working at one company, and then we started to work together full time. So it was that transition to where I had to really figure out what I wanted to do what I wanted to do in the relationship and where I wanted to be financially and get to that point. But I think that we're there now. I think that we kind of understand each other's level, what what we both can bring to the table. And I don't really think that we've had a hard time with finances, but we definitely had to get to a place to where we both understood our roles financially in the relationship.
I think that luckily for this relationship, I've been abundantly blessed. I think I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life right now. He didn't have to meet broke me, and it's not that I don't have days that I'm broke, because I have a day where I ain't got no money or whatever because of bills and payroll or whatever. But he hasn't had to, not to say he would treat me different, but he hadn't had to meet broke me, sleeping in the car me, looking for a job me. Like, he hasn't had that person. He has gotten, as far as the financial standpoint of it, he's got the best of me, and it's only been getting better. Like, the blessings that I receive only getting better. So I think that
we've been blessed too.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
We've been blessed.
Yeah, we've traveled the world. We've seen a lot of things. We've done everything.
A lot of fun. So
I mean, whatever we kind of figure that we want or we think we want, like, even if we can't get it right then in the moment, like we can have it.
Yeah,
eventually, we can get to it. So.
Just don't give up if you truly feel that person is worth it. I mean, because there's going to be problems, there's going to be issues. That's if you by yourself or with somebody, you know what I'm saying? And just really fill out and get to learn that individual before you make a rash decision, because you could miss out on, you know what I'm saying, like the fucking greatest love of all. So just don't give up.
I'm gonna say just make sure you guys are friends. I think more than anything, I feel like a friendship with Corey. So I feel like I can talk to her about anything, come to her about anything. I feel like if I'm sad, she can console me. If I'm mad, she can, make me happy. And I feel like that's what's most important in a relationship, is finding that balance with somebody. And I think we balance each other really well. And that's why a lot of things are easier done than said. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's real.
Yeah.